Hi everyone, and welcome to the Texas Water Development Board's latest water and weather report. I'm Dr. Mark Wentzel, a hydrologist in the Surface Water Division here at the agency, and today we're going to take a look at how water supply conditions have changed in our state over the last month. But first, let's look at some of the big water and weather headlines from June and July. By far, the biggest headline in the last 2 months has been the deadly flooding that hit central Texas. Here at the Water Development Board, our hearts go out to the families and communities impacted by these tragedies. While acknowledging the significance of these events, our focus for this report will be on water supplies. Statewide, the combination of June and July was about normal for temperature and above normal for precipitation. Drought contracted 19 percentage points since late May, and as of late July, now impacts about 20% of the state, drought's smallest extent in a year. Statewide, storage in our water supply reservoirs was 79% of capacity at the end of July, about 4 percentage points below normal for this time of year. That's the closest we've been to normal in 3+ years. Through October, drought conditions are expected to be little changed. Let's take a closer look at precipitation in early July and its impact on water supply in 2 river basins, the Colorado and Guadalupe. First, let's look at precipitation. This map shows radar estimates for rainfall on July 3rd. This rainfall generated deadly flooding in several areas of central Texas. Focus on the areas shown in red on the map. These areas received more than 5 inches of rainfall, most of which occurred in a few hours. There are 2 notable areas of extreme rainfall.
The smaller area northwest of San Antonio fell in western Kerr County, generating a torrent of water that moved down the Guadalupe River to Canyon Lake.
The larger area, stretching south and east from San Angelo across multiple counties, generated runoff that eventually made its way through tributaries and the main stem of the Colorado River to Lakes Buchanan and Travis. There were, of course, multiple days of rainfall in July, but looking at this one map illustrates the difference in the volume of rainfall that fell in the Colorado and Guadalupe basins. Now let's take a look at the impact of July rainfall on water supplies, first in the Guadalupe Basin and then the Colorado. The dark blue line on this graph shows water supply storage for Canyon Lake by day of the calendar year for 2025 relative to 2024 and 2023, the light blue and gray lines respectively, and maximum, median, and minimum values since 1990. The red line shows conditions during 2011, recognized as the worst one-year statewide drought since record-keeping began. In the Guadalupe Basin, July's excess rainfall in the upper basin made its way downstream to Canyon Lake, raising water supply storage in the lake from 46% of capacity at the end of June to 68% at the end of July. How much was the total increase in volume? About 83,000 acre-feet of water, about half the amount of water that goes over Niagara Falls in an average day. Now let's look at the Colorado Basin. Here's a similar graph for Lake Buchanan, one of 2 main water supply reservoirs in the Colorado Basin. In that basin, July's excess rainfall in the upper basin and tributary watersheds, including the San Saba River, made its way downstream to Lake Buchanan, raising water supply storage in the lake from nearly 60% of capacity at the end of June to 100% at the end of July. How much was the total increase in volume? About 350,000 acre-feet of water, about the same amount of water that goes over Niagara Falls in 2 average days. How'd Lake Travis, the other major water supply reservoir in the Colorado Basin, fare? July's excess rainfall in tributary watersheds, including the Llano River, along with a bit of spillage from Lake Buchanan, made its way downstream to Lake Travis, raising water supply storage in the lake from 43% of capacity at the end of June to 90% at the end of July. How much was the total increase in volume? About 500,000 acre-feet of water, about the same amount of water that goes over Niagara Falls in 3 average days. Bottom line, July flooding was deadly in both systems, but water supply reservoirs in the Colorado Basin gained 10 times the volume of those in the Guadalupe. As of now, water supply conditions in the Colorado Basin are 6 percentage points above normal for this time of year, but conditions in the Guadalupe remain 25 percentage points below normal. That concludes our report. Until next time, I hope you all stay healthy and safe.